Welcome to a new edition of the Neon Jazz Interview Series with a professor of jazz music at Kansas City, Kansas Community College and a leader in the Kansas City jazz world, Mr. Jim Mair. We talked to him on October 8th, 2020 about this COVID-19 world and what has been going on. He opened up about his all-star jazz big bands for middle and high schools that are now taking place from October 21st to November 18th. It's a venture that has taken off and a real product of this pandemic. Registration and more information can be found at rewmusic.net. Jim is a great ambassador of jazz in Kansas City. It was great to catch up with him. Enjoy the conversation.
Thanks for reaching out. It's been a little while since we've talked, and I'm looking forward to kind of delving into your new venture and kind of what you've been doing over the pandemic. So thank you.
Okay, my pleasure. Thank you.
So I guess that's kind of the backdrop here, is obviously this brand new world of no live jazz and totally altering everything that we've been kind of used to, from that old, pre-March world. Talk to me a little bit about, kind of how you started to figure things out, that things were changing and going in a whole other direction, and kind of what you did about it.
Well, as a teacher, as things started to change at the college, the schedule got changed, what we could do in person or online changed. We had to be creative in those terms. We had to postpone our jazz summit. And, hopefully we'll be able to have it again in April, either virtual or in person. So that changed a lot. Then this summer, I've had a regular gig first Wednesday of the month since 1994 at Unity on the Plaza, and that's always been in a lot of room in that sanctuary where we played, and that was canceled, and we have not been back for that yet. Of course, most of the audience were elderly, so that changed. And then I had a regular gig at the Green Lady Lounge on Friday nights, and that changed right away. We haven't been doing that either. So, having said that, the schools are in limbo as well. High schools, middle schools, and a program I've been wanting to spend more time on. I've kind of had it going in a part-time sort of way for quite a few years, but the high school all-star and middle school all-star jazz bands is a program for the best kids that we can find in the region, the eager kids, the kids who go the extra mile, and we've worked in conjunction with REW Music. So we're fulfilling a void that the public schools aren't doing right now, because we have to stay within CDC guidelines, certainly, but we're not dealing with schools with thousands of kids and band programs with 100, 120 kids. So this has been a great avenue for us. We have concerts. We performed a concert out in the parking lot, which is set up perfectly for that kind of setting, and we space ourselves following the guideline. And then we have a concert coming up at the Lenexa Public Market, also outdoors, on Saturday, October 17th. So it's important to rethink things, be creative, anticipate, and adjust but still keeping as much integrity as you can as far as the music and education and trying to keep people safe. We've cut little slits in the masks so the kids can play instruments through a little hole in the mask, and it's been great. I have not complained about it or raised a fuss about it, so the kids, if they see me not doing that, they're more inclined to just go with the flow and make it work. It's like Lisa Henry told me when she was touring with Herbie Hancock. Herbie never complained about the hotels, the food, the transportation, the waiting in the airports, and Lisa said that her and the other musicians on the tour, she would say, "Well, if Herbie's okay with it, if Herbie's not complaining, we shouldn't be complaining." And I think that's a great message.
That's profound, yeah. And the thing I think that struck me, done a lot of interviews since late March, and I find that throughout the jazz community, which is why I admire all of you so much, is that there's always a resounding level of optimism, and that is shown through. I mean, this has been an intensely raw time, and I've actually really played a lot of these interviews for my kids. I have a 14-year-old stepdaughter and a 15-year-old son, and they've really, by osmosis, soaked in something that's been overwhelmingly positive. But the thing that gets me about the jazz community is you all have always been thrown into situations that are unknown, and you have to come out with something beautiful at the end. You've always had to adapt. This is not a profession that anybody gets into because of the money. It almost seems like what is happening now is only going to make the community stronger because you guys have always done this no matter what.
Well, I think that's important. I'm in this all-star band program. We can only have 14 people in the room. And, a traditional big band has about 18, so it's 4 people. We have to go with a smaller size group. So that allows me, through our Kansas City Jazz Alliance program, to hire some musicians. And so it's been great. I've had James Albright, Andrew Stinson, and James Ward and his wife are going to be playing. And so it's a great opportunity to, have professionals come in and play and get paid. It's not much, but every little bit helps. And it's a great way to bridge the community together. I think that's really important. I think we have to be proactive, and we have to, I've always been an advocate of creating, and people say, where's a good place to play? Create your own gig, create your own program, create your own scene, and create your own fan base. And I think it's a recipe for success.
I've gone to some of the KC drive-in concerts with Jackie, and I've been fortunate enough to see some live things that have happened. Bobby's CD release, Keeping It Real, and there is a revival to all of it. I mean, all of this, no matter how unideal it might be, it's happening. And I think that's the thing that probably needs to be embraced more than anything, not only in Kansas City, but throughout the world in regards to live music and more specifically jazz, because, like you said, it's totally possible. So there must be a lot of excitement when you actually do get the chance to do live shows. Absolutely.
And we did one last week. I figured out that the Lenexa Public Market is a great place for an outdoor concert. They've got 2 stages, and I contacted the gentleman out there, and he said, absolutely. So we had Tim Whitmer's band with Ray DeMarchi, and let's see who else was playing bass. It was Rod Fleeman on guitar, my apologies. And we had a great crowd, and it was all within, again, the social distancing guidelines, and we got paid, and we also put out a tip jar. In fact, the guy who booked us said, why don't you guys put a tip jar out? And so, it all works out. The driveway concerts, have been successful for people, and the drive-in concerts with Jackie have been very successful.
So, we've always at Neon Jazz been admirers of educators and programs and things that happen, and you're on the top of that list. So having this kind of moment where I can get the word out as far as what you're doing, I know you've sent over some information. I want to give you the opportunity right now to be very clear about exactly what you're doing, the possibility of recruitment, the shows that are coming up. I know there's one. You've said there's been periodic shows. I want to use this moment to really just kind of do the inverted pyramid and make sure that we're clear about what's going on and as you move forward.
Sure. Well, we're in partnership with REW Music, which has a great location in Lenexa on 87th Street. They also have a location in Olathe. But the concept behind this program is to treat it like a sports team that is a travel team or a club team, like club baseball, club football, travel hockey. And so we're looking for the best musicians that we can find, serious, who are, put music at the top of their priority list and practicing, and who are interested in digging deeper and going after the details. Great ensemble playing, and great soloing. I have a motto I've embraced in the last couple of years: SOBs, no more SOBs, and that stands for stamp out bad solos. I get to adjudicate a lot of festivals, and the ensembles are good, but the solos most of the time aren't. And it's a lack of attention to detail and treating a solo as an honor. It's an honor to have a solo. So it's not something. We're looking for the kids who go the extra mile, and just like an employer would. The employee that's never sick, the employee that shows up early and leaves late, has the right attitude, is adaptable, is a team player but knows when to lead. Those are all life skills, and that's what we want to, in addition to great music, that's what we want to embrace in this program. And again, it's sponsored by the Kansas City Jazz Alliance and REW Music. And people can register at rewmusic.net. We prefer that you have taken or are taking private lessons, and that you can provide a recommendation from your band director as well.
You know, when we do get back more full force to live music, we don't know when that's going to happen. You know, there's going to be a lot of people that probably, even with these shows, as sparse as they aren't going to go out. But, you know, eventually we will. My question to you is this. When we do, and you get your regular gigs back and everybody starts kind of getting back to life, what do you hope both the musician and the audience realizes about this absence of live music?
That's a good question. I think it's important when we play jazz music that we connect with the audience. And I think that is the cleansing of playing the music, you know, as Art Blakey said, washing the dust off your shoes of everyday life. Or as Tim Whitmer said to me once, we play for people that work 9 to 5. We play from 5 to 9 for them. You know, what makes Kansas City Jazz especially special is the connection with the audience on an emotional level. And so, you know, I think you're building a fan base, and I'll tell you, the gigs that I have had, I'm still seeing the same people coming to those, which they like the music, but they also like the musicians as people, and they enjoy the interaction perhaps on the break and that kind of thing. So, you know, being adaptable and not being a music snob and making a connection with the audience. I think, and one other thing is, I see a lot of younger musicians, and I think they need to maybe reconsider this, is they're trying to build a fan base of musicians, and they're trying to sell their product to musicians, and they're trying to get musicians to come and hear their gigs. But for a long shelf as a musician, you've got to build relationships with people, regular people, dentists, tailors, barbers, plumbers. Those are the people that are going to support you, and they also have the wherewithal to come and spend some money on product or in a bar or a restaurant or whatever. So, you know, going after regular folks and building a fan base. Houston person told me, make a fan a friend. And I think that's something we can live by as musicians.
That's great, man. That's a great answer. Jim, hey, thank you for taking some time out today. Good luck with the program. I look forward to getting this out in front of the audience.
I sure appreciate it, Joe. Thanks for all that you do for us.
Thanks for listening and tuning into another Neon Jazz interview, where we give you a bit of insight into the finest cats in Kansas, Missouri, and spots all over America, giving fans all that jazz. And thanks to Jim for his time and dedication to the Kansas City jazz scene. If you want to hear more interviews, go to Famous Interviews with Joe Domino on the iTunes Store. Visit neonjazz at youtube.com, and for everything Neon Jazz all the time, go to the neonjazz.blogspot.com. Until next time, enjoy the jazz, my friends.
Neon Jazz.